What's up, Sledheads? Gart here. Today's video is going to be talking about the infamous Storm Sled, which is unlocked for each character by completing the Open Mountain Championship. Pretty much everyone that speedruns this game uses this sled, and it's easy to see why. Maxed out stats all across the board, slim aerodynamic design, but what if I told you those stats are not as they appear to be? It all began with a runner named Dosa, claiming that Tracy has a smaller turn radius compared to other characters. He was able to achieve a world record time of 49.68 on Lost Peak in the skip category on August 8th, 2020. For one of the skips on Lost Peak, you must crash off the side of the track to be placed on the track above to hit a checkpoint. Then you must do a complete 180 into a 90-degree drop back on the track below. Watching the clip, I was shocked on how fast he was able to turn his sled around, so I took her into the Open Mountain Championship, bought every upgrade in the game, and loaded up Lost Peak to start some attempts. I couldn't tell the difference. My 180s were still super wide. I kept thinking to myself, how could Dosa's Tracy be any different than mine? And it dawned on me, what if he is using the cheat version of the Storm Sled? At that time, I knew the Cheat Sled differed in the fact its acceleration is slightly slower and its stability was dramatically worse compared to one you win from the championship. I presumed that he couldn't be using the Cheat Sled because of those drawbacks. But I asked Dosa, and sure enough, he was using the Cheat Sled. Turns out, no pun intended, not only is the stability low for the Cheat Sled, but also the handling. And by low, I mean the sled is more sensitive to inputs. This is viewed as a bad thing when speedrunning the no skip category. As you could have guessed, with the terrain in this game, you need all the stability and handling you can get. But when it comes to doing skips, it's all about crossing a checkpoint, doing a 180, then crashing into another checkpoint. And that's just what the Cheat Sled is built for, except for two tracks, Eagle Ridge and Perilous Pass. Eagle Ridge has a skip that uses the wall riding glitch, which requires a lot of stability to keep your sled from flipping over. The Cheat Sled can do it, but the setup takes too long and it's so much more precise. And as for Perilous Pass, to perform the side castle skip, you have to do a backwards wall ride to hit a checkpoint at a specific height. And the only way to do that is to have the power reverse upgrade. And guess what? The Cheat Sled does not have this upgrade. The only way to get it is from purchasing it in the Open Mountain Championship. So without it, this skip is impossible. Bringing me to my next big discovery. Back before the discovery of the side castle skip, there was never a reason to go in reverse. So I rarely bought the power reverse for my characters. And the times that I did was simply because I could afford it and I thought, why the hell not? But after the side castle skip discovery, I was confused why I couldn't get into the backwards wall ride with some characters and others I could. I again presumed that the Storm Sled you unlock from the championship had every single upgrade in the game, but no. If you do not buy the power reverse for your sled in the championship, the Storm Sled you unlock will also not have it. So it got me thinking, are the Storm Sled stats what they appear to be? On a PlayStation 1 emulator, I went into the Open Mountain Championship. I collected as much cash as I could so I could buy every upgrade in the game. After finishing Perilous Pass, you get one last chance to modify your sled before going into Lost Peak. I placed a save state so I could try multiple upgrade combinations. Of course, the first thing I wanted to test was, is it possible to create a Storm Sled with low stability and handling? So I sold all the parts that would help in those areas, leaving only the top speed and acceleration to be the only stats maxed. I then completed Lost Peak quickly using the skips and was given my Storm Sled. Going into Quick Race, I selected Jay's Storm Sled, but it appeared that everything is maxed out still. Well, the only way to truly know is to test it. And what do you know? I can turn sharper now. This means the Storm Sled you unlock from the championship is simply taking the standard sled stats you finished with and repackaging it into a slimmer model, with a few exceptions. Your Storm Sled will always be given maxed out acceleration and top speed, even if you finish with your stock sled, which makes sense. In the championship, if you're not earning extra cash by doing tricks, you won't have enough to purchase every upgrade in the game. So EA figured, well, if they beat the championship, they deserve to have the fastest sled in the game. But it doesn't mean it's going to be the easiest to control. So what does this mean for speedrunning? Well, essentially there will be a Storm Sled class optimized for each category. The meta for the no skips category will be stable sleds, which would be higher handling and stability to avoid crashing at all costs. As for the skip categories, it will be the wobble sleds, which would be lower handling and stability, so you can turn around and crash quicker. I'm not sure what the meta for score attack will be yet. Possibly a balanced sled, which would be something in the middle between stable and wobble sleds, which would allow you to bounce off smaller humps to perform many tricks easier, but the risk of crashing will go up. There will also be sleds built specifically for one track, which is actually already a thing. Eagle Ridge has a new skip called the Submarine Skip that requires you to dive into the ground to pass underneath the finish line checkpoint to hit a checkpoint on the other side. If your sled is too stable, you won't be able to dive fast enough to get into the submarine. But if you do manage to get in, you will have a safer pass underneath to the other side. And if your sled is not stable enough, you will run the risk of flipping over or losing control while in the submarine. So some sort of variation of the balanced sled would be best suited for this skip. I will be making a tutorial for this skip soon, so look forward to that. Now, if you're looking to create one of these custom sleds, I highly recommend doing it on an emulator with the cheaper upgrade cheat enabled, which is X, L1, circle, triangle, square, square, triangle, L2. So you will have plenty of cash to buy any upgrade you want, and you will blow through the championship with no problem. Learn a few skips if you really want to save some time. And once you have completed Perilous Pass, do not, I repeat, do not forget to create a save state, so that you can go back to that save file and create another custom sled if you choose to. Once you have the sled stats you desire, write down which upgrades you purchase, because remember, the stats for your Storm Sled will always appear to be maxed out, so you won't know what type of Storm Sled it is unless you want a specific character to have it. And all you have to do now is complete Lost Peak to unlock it. Once back at the main menu, I'd create a save state here. For example, say I want to create a wobble sled. So I would load up my save state from the championship, buy or sell what I need to, write down all the upgrades into my documents titled Wobble Sled 1, finish Lost Peak to complete the championship, back to the main menu, find a open save state slot, save, add that slot number to my document, and there you go. I have a wobble sled available to use at any time. For players on console, you would have to do what I said earlier and have a designated character for each Storm Sled class, or if you have multiple memory cards, you can have one card with the save state file going into finishing. And then once you beat the championship, pop in a new card and save that sled there. So you would have a memory card for each Storm Sled class. Not the cheapest option, but it's the quickest if you're wanting multiple custom Storm Sleds for console use. Well, that's going to do it, guys. Lots of records are going to be broken with this new discovery. Remember to never judge a book by its cover. In this case, it's never judge a sled by its stats. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. And if you haven't already, join the Sledstorm Discord to keep yourself up to date on the game and its community of fellow sledheads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the slopes. Peace.